The story centers around Xiao Nan as the main focus throughout all events. Due to his crippled body and lowest cultivation level, he becomes everyone's favorite joke. Just when fate seems hopeless, a strange incident suddenly occurs. That event accidentally draws the attention and intentions of the sect's high-ranking women. The world follows the laws of heaven, earth, and the five elements, where spiritual energy fuels all life across 21 continents devoted to cultivation. Thousands of sects of every size flourish, too many to count. Over time, only Beijing Jianzong stands firm as the unrivaled ruler. Speaking of the sword sect, one can't ignore the great commotion at Henbau Square. Amid the noisy crowd, a young man stands beneath a goddess statue while voices shout out his cultivation test. The subject of scrutiny is Xiao Nan, struggling to circulate his energy but finding only emptiness and despair. Just as he's dazed, an elder loudly announces his cultivation results like a final judgment. The declaration sparks a wildfire of mockery and scorn from the surrounding disciples. On a distant mountain peak, a few mysterious figures observe the lively chaos below. A stunning woman chuckles as she watches, whispering Xiao Nan's name like it's a joke. Beside her, another cold woman repeats the verdict about his cultivation. Insults about his background rain down, leaving Xiao Nan trembling with rage yet powerless. Higher up, four powerful elders of the sword sect also witness the entire scene. The Grand Elder Niu Bang Yun, large and imposing, exudes both weirdness and majesty. Fourth Elder Xu Moly, blue-haired and feather-chewing, questions the old prophecy. Third Elder Jin Tu sips tea leisurely, while Second Elder of Beijing Peak radiates silent intimidation. Jin Tu watches below, warning that the grand formation might drain Xiao Nan's life force to death. Bing Yun coldly insists the founder's prophecy never errs and this is no time for hesitation. At her command, the other three elders respond eagerly. All four soar into the air, releasing brilliant overlapping auras like a celestial festival. Their energies merge into a massive beam descending upon the founder's statue. Xiao Nan freezes as the lightning-like light hurtles toward him, thinking he's about to be vaporized. Before he can react, the devastating power hits, knocking him unconscious. Blood gushes from his nose. His eyes roll white like one struck dead. In the haze, he feels a strange force invade his body and assumes he's died. Regaining awareness, he sees only the founder's statue, no underworld in sight. Realizing he's alive, Xiao Nan's heart pounds wildly in fear. The disciples below stare wide-eyed. Someone trembles, asking if he's dead. An elder sighs, noting even top experts struggle to endure the grand formation, let alone a weakling. Hearing that, everyone retreats in panic as if avoiding evil energy. Xiao Nan trembles and mutters blankly, utterly lost about what just happened. Seeing him still talking, the disciples panic and scatter like they've seen a corpse revived. Left alone in the empty square, Xiao Nan stares blankly, unable to process the chaos. On the cliff, Bing Yun notices his unharmed and confirms has the one of heavenly destiny. As the senior sister, she declares she'll personally train Xiao Nan per the founder's will. Moly instantly objects, saying such a key figure of the sword sect can't be monopolized. Jintu cuts in, claiming the medicine peak holds the sect's foundation and Xiao Nan should pursue alchemy. The scene turns into a talent tugafor, the three elders clashing as if war is about to erupt. Just as tensions peak, a bone-chilling sword aura suddenly descends. The crushing pressure forces all three to dodge instantly for their lives. Second Elder Wu Yan appears with his ice sword, firmly declaring Xiao Nan belongs to Sword Peak to learn the sword path. Moly provokes him at once, clearly ready to fight if needed. Jin Tu watches from the side, secretly delighted to see the two powers collide. She schemes that if they fight, she can sit back and reap the rewards, but her plan to enjoy the show collapses when Bing Yun steps in. Bing Yun halts the conflict, demanding everyone stop fighting. She proposes a fair solution: hide their identities and let Xiao Nan choose freely. The three other elders think it over and agree, praising the senior sister's cleverness. All eyes turn to Wu Yan, waiting for his final word. Wu Yan simply says agreed before leaving in silence. The story shifts to the new disciple quarters of the sword sect. Xiao Nan relaxes in a hot spring, trying to recover from all the chaos, yet deep down, he's still bitter that others think he survived only by dumb luck. That contempt enrages him. He believes he lives by destiny, not chance. Thinking his broken family and failed engagement, Xiao Nan feels his life is pure tragedy. Worst of all, his bodiless body leaks all spiritual energy, keeping his cultivation stuck forever. Amid all misfortune, he pins his hope on an heirloom ring, believing it hides his fate's opportunity. Betting on destiny, Xiao Nan rushes to find the ring, when anger makes him toss it away. A mysterious warning echoes his soul doesn't belong to this world and karma reversal has begun. Hearing it, Xiao Nan grows excited, convinced his heaven-defying chance has finally arrived. A system activates a forbidden reverse cultivation law, showing his cultivation points constantly dropping. His joy dies instantly as he realizes his plummeting in strength. No matter how he screams or resists, the mysterious system keeps draining him until he breaks mentally, despairing over a cultivation that worsens the harder he tries. He gives up and lies still. Just as his spirit hits rock bottom, the door suddenly bursts open. Xiao Nan jumps in alarm, fearing a midnight intruder. When he looks up, the first thing he sees is a pair of flawless legs that stun his mind. The intruder is none other than Bing Yun, slipping silently into his room. Before he can react, she kneels down with a strange look, as if about to perform an experiment. Xiaonan panics, imagining every kind of dark ritual in his head. He even suspects has been targeted since the square incident. Bing Yun's intense gaze convinces him he's about to face some indecent doom. In truth, Bing Yun is secretly casting a dream-entering art she mastered years ago. She plans to use mind control magic to make the heaven-fated one willingly become her disciple. Xiaonan lies there in tragic anticipation but soon realizes things aren't going as imagined. Just as he's dazed, two invisible forces strike straight into his spirit. Bing Yun keeps forming seals, pouring all her power into the spell. The invading energy makes Xiaonan think she's really trying to kill him. Waves of strange aura keep flooding into his consciousness. The system instantly pops up, mental damage received stats rising rapidly. Faced with this nonsense, Xiaonan is completely dumbfounded. He quickly notices the more he's attacked, the stronger his spirit grows. He concludes the system must have a glorious fatal bug. Grasping this weird loophole, Xiaonan relaxes and treats it as divine welfare. In the dreamscape, he sees a stunning woman exuding dominance, beckoning him closer. Not missing such heaven-sent luck, Xiaonan loosens up, thrilled by his fated fortune. Inside, he cheers this torture is actually free power-up time. Bing Yun, on the other hand, senses something wrong as her own spirit starts to destabilize. While she's confused, Xiaonan suddenly springs up like a loaded spring. Bing Yun freezes. Xiaonan nosebleeds. Mind exploding with dual cultivation fantasies, he resolves to enjoy this golden moment while she's still stunned. Before she can react, Bing Yun sees him closing in, clearly crossing the line. Seeing his fiery face, she feels a strange, unnameable flutter inside. She realizes the kid actually isn't that bad-looking after all. But reason snaps back, erasing every stray thought. A thunderous slap lands like lightning from a clear sky. Xiaonan flies off and crashes pathetically like a falling meteor. Bing Yun is shocked that the situation spiraled out of control so fast. She notices Xiaonan somehow unconsciously absorbed some of her spiritual energy. Meanwhile, Xiaonan suffers pain instead of any benefit. After a while, he groans awake, clutching his head in agony. Bing Yun, both suspicious and shaken, sees his recovering far too fast. She suddenly leans in, catching him off guard for a close inspection. After careful observation, she confirms no mental invasion occurred. Xiaonan, flustered, pushes her away, pretending total ignorance. Deep down, he suspects she might actually be mentally unstable. Seeing his reaction, Bing Yun grows more certain his strange spirit power matches the prophecy. Xiaonan curls up in panic, convinced this crazy woman will assault him. Bing Yun tries to calm him, awkwardly introducing herself with forced seriousness. Yet in a blink, her restraint fades as she keeps staring, while he trembles, cornered like prey. Hearing his foolish guesses, Bing Yun loses her temper, punches him, and shouts her rank, making him cry in pain. The moment her punch lands, the system instantly replies rude aptitude increased, leaving Xiaonan dumbstruck. Ignoring his reaction, Bing Yun switches to a gentle tone, explaining she was assigned to personally tutor him so he won't fall behind. Just as she's feeling proud, Xiaonan seriously asks her to hit him again. His mind clicks, each attack boosts his stats thanks to the reverse cultivation system. His eyes shine like someone who's just grasped the ultimate truth of cultivation. Overjoyed, Xiaonan pants and urges his senior sister to strike once more. Without waiting, he charges forward in glorious misunderstanding. Bing Yun reflexively kicks hard, sending him flying straight into the wall. The system again chimes rude aptitude increased. Bing Yun pants, horrified and unable to believe what she's seeing. The next Xiaonan jumps up, acting even stranger than before. He casually reassures her with words that only make things more awkward. Bing Yun nearly draws her sword, calling him a pervert in fury. Realizing real danger, Xiaonan wisely surrenders, as he laughs like a lunatic over getting stronger from beatings. Bing Yun is left dizzy by this bizarre heaven-chosen one. To end the chaos, she hands him an introductory cultivation manual to train properly. Xiaonan reads the title, full of question marks and a bad feeling. Bing Yun, however, grows even more convinced has a rare genius with unorthodox insight. Though she finds him odd, Bing Yun becomes more determined to make him hers. Xiaonan skims the contents, then suddenly asks about another manual, arousing Bing Yun's suspicion it's a top-secret inheritance. Before she can think, she grabs him and demands absolute secrecy about tonight. Bing Yun suggests they test the method in the manual right now, while Xiaonan tries to stay calm under pressure. When she touches his face, he blushes reflexively and pretends to meditate. The system reports a slight rise in energy, surprising him that even acting helps. His joy is cut short as Bing Yun slaps him for faking cultivation. Frightened, Xiaonan obediently starts cultivating for real, but the system glitches, his energy rising and falling chaotically the harder he trains. The worse it gets, he confirms the strange rule effort equals regression. Bing Yun misunderstands it as diligence, proudly declaring she'll stay and watch over him all night. Hearing that, Xiaonan breaks into a cold sweat, suspecting she's the greatest obstacle to his cultivation. Just as tension peaks, a knock echoes from outside. Xiaonan jolts, imagining countless terrible scenarios. Bing Yun reacts instantly, covering his mouth. She signals him to stay completely silent. Xiaonan struggles helplessly as the system announces another rude increase, convincing him the system's utterly broken. Outside, Jintu introduces herself from Medicine Peak, saying she brought pills out of concern for his weak cultivation. While Xiaonan is still dazed, Bingyun panics realizing a rival's here and decides to hide. Before he can react, she signals him to stay silent again. Then Bingyun sneaks into the closet, warning him not to reveal she's there, leaving him utterly bewildered. Before he can piece things together, the door opens. Jintu enters with a gentle smile, praising Xiaonan for training so late at night. Xiaonan tries to stay calm, stammering as he asks why his senior sister came at midnight. Jintu freezes, suspecting his unusual composure means has the prophesied one. Xiaonan's mind spins, why won't this cursed night ever end? Jintu steps closer, smiling mysteriously as she offers a glowing pill, softly tempting him with its power-boosting effects. Inside, she smirks, planning to win this talent over with a precious treasure. She even fantasizes about a close teacher-disciple bond in the future. Outwardly grateful, Xiaonan inwardly sweats. This gift feels deadly. He silently curses the heavens for sending him nothing but terrifying women tonight. Before he can refuse, Jintu seizes him and forces the pill toward his mouth. Xiaonan panics, convinced it's poison and his death is near. In desperation, he fakes pain and flicks the pill away. The glowing pellet hits the floor. He apologizes theatrically, relieved he might have escaped drinking death. To his surprise, Jintu coldly crushes the pill underfoot. She explains its properties turn toxic, it's worthless now. Xiaonan freezes, then his eyes light up with strange excitement at the powdered remains. Jintu casually pats his shoulder, saying it's nothing to regret. She then pulls out a handful of other pills, boldly trying to recruit him to Medicine Peak. Terrified, Xiaonan stumbles backward, shouting for her to stop. Inside the closet, Bingyun silently watches. Fuming, she seethes that Jintu's too cunning and swears not to let her succeed. Bingyun snaps her fingers, making a sharp sound on the closet door. Jintu startles and spins around, demanding to know where the noise came from. Xiaonan turns pale, trembling against the closet and denying any sound. Jintu's face darkens without explanation. She grabs Xiaonan and tosses him aside like a rag doll. She feigns generosity, promising to protect him if danger arises. Without hesitation, Jintu approaches the suspicious closet and prepares to open it. Inside, Bingyun tenses up completely, frozen in dread. Seeing the crisis, Xiaonan grabs a pill from the floor and loudly asks about its strange effects to divert her. Jintu jerks back, panicking and trying to stop him, but Xiaonan's faster. He gulps the pill down like water. His whole body glows as spiritual energy floods into his core. The system explodes with notifications. His cultivation stats skyrocket across the board. Overjoyed, Xiaonan confirms that poison truly is his destined opportunity. Jintu stands frozen, unable to believe a failed pill caused such transformation. In the closet, Bingyun's mind shakes. She realizes Xiaonan's an insane-era prodigy. In an instant, Xiaonan turns from victim to prize. Before the shock fades, a voice from outside startles everyone. Xiaonan tenses, while Jintu recognizes the newcomer, its second senior sister. Xiaonan slips up and calls her by the wrong title, deepening Jintu's suspicion. He realizes the blunder instantly, but it's too late to fix. Jintu's probing stare silences him, suspicion rising. She decides to flee. Distracted, Jintu's gaze lands on the closet and she instantly devises a plan. Jintu rushes to the closet, slipping inside while whispering for Xiaonan to keep the secret. Xiaonan stands frozen, brains scrambled, and deciding to let the two women sort it out themselves. Inside, Jintu immediately locks eyes with a horrified Bingyun. The two glare at each other, tension in the cramped space thick enough to choke on. Regaining composure, Xiaonan opens the door and greets whoever's outside. He awkwardly addresses the visitor, asking why she's come. Dam Wuyan stands in the courtyard, sword in hand, eyes cold and assessing, outwardly calm. She's inwardly shocked by Xiaonan's sudden cultivation leap. Xiaonan boldly guesses she's come to aid his training. Thinking so, he confidently asks if she carries orders to support him. Wuyan dumps a bucket of cold reality. She's only here to deliver an announcement. Embarrassed, Xiaonan realizes his mistake and quickly nods obediently. The next morning, all disciples gather at the sect's main square. The elders announce the division rules for 4 schools of differing levels. A stage 2 refining puppet is used as the test for measuring strength. The time one lasts against the puppet determines which school they'll enter. The signal blares, and the disciples shout in unison. Xiaonan drags his exhausted body forward, face pale from a sleepless night. Then Kandude appears, pointing mockingly at him. He brings his lackeys, openly taunting Xiaonan as the sect's weakest. Xiaonan assesses him as a near-breakthrough genius and decides not to provoke him. Suddenly, the system announces mental damage received, awarding him extra psycho points. Xiaonan's eyes light up, thrilled as if he just hit a jackpot. Pretending to rage, he provokes Kandude on purpose to trigger more attacks. The system happily pings again, granting bonus spirit points from new insults. Outwardly gloomy, Xiaonan inwardly celebrates like a festival. He secretly prays the guy keeps cursing so he can farm upgrade points. 2 juniors behind whisper, suspecting Xiaonan's lost his mind. Just as tension peaks, Bai Meirong appears, reminding everyone of the sect's equality rules. The crowd stirs as a noble-born prodigy with both power and charisma. Bai Meirong kindly encourages Xiaonan, accidentally triggering another psycho point gain. He then shares tales of his triple-stage hardships, making Xiao Nan mentally groan. His half-joking, half-taunting words stab straight into Xiao Nan's low cultivation trauma. Xiao Nan realizes this smiling man is actually a threat to his mental balance. The system joyfully reports massive psyche damage, boosting Xiao Nan's spirit soul power. Xiao Nan slings an arm around Gai Mai Rong, cheerfully thanking him like he's received a blessing. His calm reaction leaves Gai Bai Mei Rong speechless and the crowd shocked the mockery didn't work. This absurd display, however, has a hidden observer atop an ancient tree. Dan Wuyan watches, impressed by Xiao Nan's mental composure. She tightens her resolve, vowing to recruit him to her faction no matter what. Below, the elder waves a hand, declaring the test begins in order of cultivation. Xiao Nan's name is called first is just as baffled as everyone else to go up so soon. The disciples laugh, certain he'll be eliminated instantly due to his weakness. Ignoring the whispers, Xiao Nan greets formally and reluctantly steps into the arena. Dan Wuyan watches coldly from above, waiting to see his true potential. Xiao Nan cautiously approaches the puppet. Gripping his sword nervously, he swings a slash straight at its face. The strike leaves only a scratch, barely noticeable. The puppet instantly counterattacks with a heavy punch, launching him away. His body soars through the air under the terrifying impact. Dan Wuyan shakes her head in disappointment, finding no visible promise in him. The crowd erupts as Xiao Nan's defeat happens in a blink. Struggling up, he notices the system reporting stat increases despite injury. He suddenly grasps his unique trait: he grows stronger the more he's beaten. As long as he survives, Xiao Nan realizes this puppet is the perfect experience farm. Dan Wuyan freezes in disbelief as he staggers up to fight again. Ignoring skeptical stares, Xiao Nan grips his sword tighter like an action hero. He charges at the puppet again without hesitation. While rushing, he yells fiercely, treating it like a walking XP chest. The violent clash makes everyone hold their breath. Notifications keep ringing as Xiao Nan's battered body tears apart. Yet the system keeps adding stats the more he's hit. The richer he gets, though wrecked, he keeps charging forward relentlessly. The crowd murmurs, realizing his lasted far beyond expectations. The elders marvel at his persistence, even earning admiration from some female disciples. All eyes lock on him, broken and bloody, but unyielding like steel. The puppet continues attacking mercilessly, its speed and power undiminished. Xiao Nan barely blocks, groaning in pain. He knows as long as he's not dead, he's still gaining strength. Suddenly, the puppet smashes his sword in half, shocking the whole arena. The crowd anxiously debates how a third-stage weakling can endure this long. Excitement explodes as cheers rise for Xiao Nan's courage. Unyielding, he grabs the broken sword half and lunges back in. Though easily repelled, he refuses to stop. Charging like an armored tank, he roars and attacks with everything he has. His relentless strikes push the puppet into pure defense. The system dings his endurance officially reaches grade 8. Mid-battle, a direct palm strike from the puppet smashes into his stomach. The blow sends him flying, coughing blood, cursing his fragile mortal body. The system calmly updates his attributes rise massively across the board. Struggling to stand, he admits this fight will haunt him forever. The puppet suddenly collapses, either overloaded or out of energy. The elder watching eyes him like a rare gem, deciding to monitor this tenacious disciple closely. Unexpectedly, the puppet's spirit bird glows crimson, chanting a strange incantation. The crowd buzzes in confusion, wondering what this anomaly means. The puppet shakes violently, screeching like a machine about to explode. Wild spiritual energy bursts out, cracking the ground all around the stage. From 4 distant peaks, golden beams shot straight into the sky. The elders were stunned. Recognizing this omen of a peerless prodigy, the puppet announced mechanically that Xiao Nan was granted special entry to the Pride Academy. The whole school exploded in shock, leaving his mockers ashamed and speechless. A noble elder stepped onto the stage, helped Xiao Nan up, and silently praised his rare willpower. He poured spiritual power like a flood to heal him carefully, while Xiao Nan grimaced in pain. The system coldly notified that all infused spiritual energy had been instantly drained. The elder was shocked to find Xiao Nan's Danshan hollow, like a bottomless pit. Seeing the alert, Xiao Nan grew anxious, fearing a day's effort had vanished. He quickly dodged aside, claiming his body only self-absorbs caught, making the elder stop and nod. The elder was moved, believing Xiao Nan had a rare physique destined for greatness. While Xiao Nan was utterly confused, despite the pain, he stood tall, refusing to bow. Suddenly, Xiao Nan froze at the sight before him. Below the stage, students cheered like fans, praising his fight and begging for training tips. Surrounded by admiration, Xiao Nan blushed, reminding himself to stay humble since he barely controlled his system. He modestly said his win was pure luck and his puppet went easy on him. Someone asked if the puppet grew stronger against tougher foes. Xiao Nan awkwardly confirmed. A girl solemnly pointed out the 4 glowing peaks as a rare omen, making Xiao Nan stammer in embarrassment. He quickly sought rescue, claiming the sect used him to prove fairness and even forced the elder to confirm it. The elder's serious reply nearly made Xiao Nan faint, prompting him to send a desperate look for help. Catching the hint, the elder hurriedly agreed, making the crowd fully believe and gossip about Xiao Nan's luck and background. Xiao Nan looked gratefully at the elder, while the elder felt touched by the boy's humility. The more he thought, the more the elder admired Xiao Nan's rare poise and sense of duty. Amid the excitement, Data suddenly suggested Xiao Nan join his class for convenience. The unexpected offer left Xiao Nan dumbstruck. Regaining composure, he proposed a duel if he lost to the puppet and Data had served as their junior. Data hesitated, thinking hard with unusual seriousness. While Data saw Xiao Nan as a stubborn monster, two others jumped in to mock his endurance as stupidity. As tension rose, Gaba sneered at Xiao Nan, asserting his superiority. Xiao Nan simply waved cheerfully, his carefree attitude irritating the others further. Gaba raged, preaching lofty ideals of cultivation and accusing Xiao Nan of lacking ambition. Under attack, Xiao Nan just chuckled inwardly, dismissing it as pompous noise and letting Data take the lead. He strode up to Data with a teasing challenge, forcing the latter to shout acceptance in blind confidence. The sunset turned golden, birds circling as if to witness a fateful duel. The puppet struck lazily, yet Data took the full hit. He fell flat and lay motionless on the ground. Xiao Nan calmly sat down, poking him with a stick to check if he was still breathing. Inside, he mocked and pitied him, thinking comparing endurance with him was suicide. Elsewhere, Gabe and the others were beaten badly. Realizing how far beneath Xiao Nan they were, though defeated, they stubbornly excused themselves with talk of talent and foundation. Surrounded by mockery, Xiao Nan's spirit only grew tougher. He clenched his teeth and swore to repay this humiliation someday. Just then, a sword glowing with spiritual light descended from the sky. An old man appeared, opened a gate of light, and announced it assigned cave dwellings based on results. Upon entry, everyone was stunned by floating islands and radiant ancient trees. The disciples gawked at the glowing caves and spirit trees, drooling with envy yet knowing they were out of reach. Amid the commotion, Gaibe asked the elder about the spirit tree's origin and its link to cave allocation. Prompting an eager explanation, the elder said Dalu Peak's spirit veins converged at the golden spirit tree. The closer the cave, the richer the key. Xiao Nan asked what if someone seized the tree, learning no one had ever been acknowledged by it in 5 centuries. Hearing that, Xiao Nan silently begged his system not to drag him into trouble and just let him live quietly. Data mocked him, saying only geniuses belonged here, but Xiao Nan replied with a cold stare. The elder began the cave assignment, calling names to receive their command tokens. Golden lights flew from the tree, swirling like signals of selection. One beam suddenly shot straight at Xiao Nan, leaving him dumbfounded. The elder was shocked the dormant tree had chosen Xiao Nan. Matching the earlier 4-peak omen, Xiao Nan cautiously touched the golden leaf. Asking what it was, the elder declared it the golden spirit tree key, naming Xiao Nan its new master. Driving everyone mad with envy, though urged to accept, Xiao Nan awkwardly tried to decline, claiming poor aptitude. The elder insisted the tree's choice was final, forcing Xiao Nan to accept the fate. He reassured everyone that monthly trials would reassign resources fail to reach 9th Kai stage in a year. And you're out. The warning chilled the crowd. Data sneered smugly while Xiao Nan stayed indifferent. Xiao Nan realized he was under the sharpest scrutiny if he didn't improve fast. Even great fortune couldn't save him. Gaibai took the chance to ask if future training was confined to one's cave. The elder displayed countless secret realms, explaining disciples could choose freely based on their specialty. He warned many secret realms were deadly and urged them not to trade life for progress. Hearing this, Xiao Nan instantly plotted a reckless plan to exploit his system in those toxic places others avoided. The elder ended the allocation and told everyone to return their caves to rest. The disciples dispersed, heading home like chicks returning to their nests. Xiao Nan lay down to rest, quietly cultivating as his ki gently rose. Once calm, he began suspecting the string of omens felt orchestrated by an unseen hand. The thought made him spring up in alert. He loudly challenged the unseen watcher, startling 2 women observing through a crystal orb far away. The 2 confirmed he couldn't see them, yet were shocked by his unexpectedly sharp spiritual sense. One decided to approach him directly, while Xiao Nan circled his room, then laughed off his paranoia. He opened his system panel and saw his stats had improved but were still far from true genius level. Staring at the numbers, he knew he couldn't delay if he wanted to pass the upcoming trial. He resolved to find a secret realm that matched his cultivation system. Focusing, he began scanning through the realm list. 7-star Cavern appeared with 18 floors, specializing in intricate sword comprehension. Supreme Sword Tower had 99 levels that triggered potential, but didn't suit him well. Next came Windcloud Lake on the list, though many realms existed. Most offered little growth for him. Finally, he noticed Rockfire Ridge lava-filled and poisonous, deadly to ordinary cultivators. Xiao Nan decided it was the perfect place for him. Without hesitation, he grabbed his token and set out to explore. Meanwhile, the 2 women kept watching. Intrigued, Wu Bingyan suggested they move first, while Feng Jintu noticed Xiao Nan was already on the move. Bingjin lipped up, realizing Moly was currently at Zhonghe, drinking alone. Near the lakeshore, Xiao Nan accidentally stumbled upon a scene he shouldn't have seen. His face flushed as he froze. He only meant to wash up but found himself in a scandalous moment. Moly, cheeks rosy, held her wine flask, exuding fiery allure. Xiao Nan panicked internally, forcing a calm face to avoid worsening things. Suddenly, Moly hurled her flask at him, making him instinctively catch it. she teased, asking if he wanted to drink together. Xiaonan was stunned by her unexpected reaction. His mind in chaos, he boldly took a big swig like a wandering swordsman. The fiery wine nearly made him breathe flames, while Moly laughed in delight. She openly praised his gutsy response. Xiaonan was completely lost in her mesmerizing eyes, forgetting why he was even there. His mind buzzed with random thoughts, marveling at how wild this moment felt. Moly leaned closer, lifting his chin with a finger, smiling as she called him brave for one so young. Xiaonan froze, panicked inside while outwardly stunned silent. She moved even closer, her gestures growing bolder. Xiaonan stumbled back onto the ground, staring helplessly at the sky. The wine's heat overwhelmed him, his face red as he stammered that the drink was too strong. Struggling to stay rational, he awkwardly excused himself, claiming he couldn't handle liquor. Before he could react, Moly suddenly collapsed into his arms without warning. The impact rattled Xiaonan's mind. He was forced flat on his back, completely defenseless. Stammering, he urged her to rest since it was late. Moly feigned coldness, teasing him to help warm her, making him blush and admit she was drunk. She seized the chance to kiss his cheek without hesitation. Xiaonan's mind trembled, yet he restrained himself for fear of consequences. Inside, Moly secretly rejoiced this meeting had been planned all along. The two distant watchers fumed, believing Moly had crossed the line of teacher and disciple. In the dangerous tension, Xiaonan still clung to his principles. His hand moved but stopped short of impropriety. He tactfully handed the flask back, politely suggesting she drink to stay warm. Moly was stunned by the rejection. Doubting his restraint was far beyond expectations. Curious, she asked why a Sun Sect disciple like him was in such a remote place. Xiaonan sighed, saying he came to inspect the Flame Abyss Ridge. He silently lamented how far his cultivation life had derailed. Moly sternly warned that the area was full of poison and heat suicidal for his level. Meanwhile, in 3 distant locations, a strange coincidence was quietly unfolding. 3 women simultaneously concluded the man must be mentally unwell. Xiaonan's system suddenly dinged coldly, awarding him extra mental points like a slap from the heavens. Bewildered, he wondered why the bonus came threefold, suspecting all 3 had cursed him at once. Across from him, Moly sobered up, realizing her flirtation was too much for a newbie and bluntly told him to retreat. Out of nowhere, Xiaonan grabbed her wrist, flipping the situation entirely. He pinned her down, eyes blazing, words half-joking yet charged, leaving Moly too shocked to react. He spoke in a low, magnetic tone that made her blush and waver at his unexpected boldness. Just as tension peaked, he released her and walked away, leaving only silent bewilderment. Under the stars, Xiaonan solemnly vowed to dedicate himself to the glory of the Sword Sect. Moly stood frozen, wondering if destiny had seriously malfunctioned. Half amused, she pointed him toward the perilous path, indulging his bizarre ambition. As he walked off, Xiaonan wondered why she wouldn't look at him. Confused by her reaction, Moly, utterly unimpressed, patted his back and joked about preparing a coffin in advance. Without arguing, Xiaonan hurried away, vowing to grow stronger before facing this dangerous senior again. Moly stood still, quietly watching his silhouette fade. She slyly attached a guard charm to him without his notice. Then she covered her mouth, smiling with unfathomable intent. Upon reaching the Flame Abyss Ridge, Xiaonan was greeted by charred corpses, a grim reminder of the place's brutality. Hearing the warning, Xiaonan's eyes widened as alarms rang in his head. The danger was far beyond imagination. Yet before anyone finished talking, he dashed straight in like a man being chased. The 3 behind him froze, faces blank as if their brains had been smeared with mustard. Crossing the boundary of the Flame Abyss Ridge, Xiaonan officially entered the Forbidden Zone. Before him unfolded a living hell, lava surging, volcanoes roaring, everything bathed in deadly red. Strangely, Xiaonan was ecstatic, seeing this nightmare as his personal nutrient paradise. The system bombarded him with alerts as his stats skyrocketed under the fiery poison's corrosion, soaking in danger. Xiaonan felt blissful, daydreaming about leaving here as a future overlord. Just then, a shocked voice called out behind him, questioning his suicidal behavior. Xiaonan turned, smiling brightly, admitting his low cultivation but claiming it felt oddly pleasant. The 3 onlookers were dumbfounded, unable to process what they heard. The 2 men decided to leave him for dead, but the girl hesitated, unwilling to abandon a fellow disciple. She returned, handing Xiaonan a fire spirit orb to warn him of the toxic flames. She explained how to detect danger, while Xiaonan gratefully accepted with a polite bow. She then cast a fiery protection art, declaring she'd help guard him. The system instantly displayed a wall of debuffs covering Xiaonan's entire body. Reading them, he went pale and shouted in outrage, feeling all his gains wiped out. The girl calmly explained it was a life-saving bodyguarding art. She couldn't let him die young in the abyss. Xiaonan was speechless inside, swearing he'd never say thanks for this. She drifted away like wind, leaving him standing hollow-eyed. Realizing he'd just been protected into weakness, he consoled himself that at least he still had the orb, and might as well explore the deadliest area for experience. With that thought, Xiaonan released the fire spirit orb into the air. It lit up golden like an alarm, guiding him straight toward the densest poison fire. Upon arrival, he was swallowed by a crimson inferno, beautiful but hot enough to roast him alive. Unexpectedly, the system activated again, sending his stats soaring violently thanks to the toxic flames. Xiao Nan began doubting the orb's true nature, puzzled by its extreme reactions. Ignoring his doubts, he kept flying in the direction the orb pointed. Soon he stopped short, staring in astonishment at the sight ahead. A strange ancient door stood silently before him. Landing, he casually pushed it open like entering a dorm room. Instantly, a corpse tumbled out, making Xiao Nan curse reflexively. Regaining composure, he saw the person had long been dead, not a zombie about to bite him. He wondered if the poor guy died from the toxic flames or from curiosity about the door. Xiao Nan mused that unlike others who die opening boxes, his system always rewards him with buffs. Suddenly, a blinding red light flared, blazing like the midday sun inside the sealed chamber. The glow didn't just flash, it spread wildly like spilled crimson ink splashing everywhere. Standing in the toxic center, Xiao Nan's stats kept skyrocketing. He felt like hitting the jackpot while realizing why the last owner didn't survive. His gaze fixed on a red stone in the room's center, radiating poisonous heat that made his skin crawl. Curiosity won out. Xiao Nan reached out to touch it. With a mere tap, lethal fire poison surged back, violently boosting all his stats. Xiao Nan threw his head back and laughed, pleasure surging through him as if his cells bathed in divine elixirs. The system announced multiple breakthroughs. His strength soaring, he became convinced this red stone was a supreme treasure destined to raise him to glory. But as he reveled in invincibility, his body suddenly reacted abnormally. A perfect backlash struck. He spat blood and collapsed. Baffled why his power surge turned against him, the system reported severe fire damage but rewarded him with fire resistance and antipoison physique. The darker miasma continued spreading, engulfing the chamber. Fire damage rained down, yet his resistance climbed higher in return. Xiao Nan panicked as the growth exceeded his body's limits any further, and had explode. Realizing the danger, he threw the red stone away like a live grenade. Slamming the door shut, he sighed in relief for stopping before becoming anonymous ash. Once outside the toxic core, the system alerts calmed, confirming his enhanced body now mitigated the poison's effects. He decided to stop here for today and return better prepared next time. With that, Xiao Nan left the blazing inferno. On the way out, he noticed an unfamiliar gourd hanging from him, unsure where it came from. At the exit, he found Moly waiting. Both looked surprised to see the other alive. Moly beamed, claiming concern as she casually demanded he strip for inspection. Xiao Nan flushed red, reacting like an innocent man asked to do something indecent. Calmly, Moly explained it was merely a safety check since the abyss was filled with deadly fire poison. Grinding his teeth, Xiao Nan complied, reassuring himself had done nothing wrong, then began undressing. As his robe slipped off, his physique appeared lean, muscular, and perfectly sculpted. Broad shoulders and top muscles made any onlooker want to start training immediately. Mola's eyes sparkled, secretly thrilled that his transformation exceeded all expectations. She moved closer, touching him to confirm his body wasn't harmed and had even fused seamlessly with the fire poison. Growing certain, Moly concluded he possessed the rare physique foretold by the patriarch. Meanwhile, Xiao Nan was tense all over, increasingly wary of her strange behavior. Suddenly, he shoved her hand away. Moly staggered, eyes wide in disbelief at his abrupt reaction. Xiao Nan pulled his clothes back, his voice cold as he demanded her true identity, leaving Moly inwardly shaken. He pointed straight at the suspicious item, accusing Moly of secretly attaching it to spy on him. Moly hastily denied it, explaining it was a gourd holding a wisp of soul meant for emergency protection. Xiao Nan still doubted her, even inspecting the gourd like testing a gadget. The act made Moly react strangely intense. Startled, Xiao Nan asked if she was alright, while she forced a calm reply. Weakly, Moly demanded he return the gourd immediately, but Xiao Nan deliberately refused. He kept fiddling with the gourd as if needing duff. Moly gasped, crying out in flustered agony. Blushing and furious, she admitted to herself that his actions felt like he was touching her directly. Xiao Nan sternly demanded she tell the truth about her intentions. Breathing hard, Moly told him to come closer so she could whisper. Curious, Xiao Nan leaned in, expecting a secret revelation. Suddenly, she shoved him down to the ground. Moly pinned him with fierce authority. While Xiao Nan panicked, gasping for air, he surrendered instantly, apologizing in terror. Moly thought that if he weren't the one foretold by the patriarch, she'd have punched him into orbit by now. She retrieved the gourd, snorted coldly, and warned him he wasn't dying that easily. Moly told Xiao Nan to go rest and prepare for tomorrow's opening ceremony. Coughing, Xiao Nan muttered that this woman was both fierce and terrifyingly energetic. The next morning, at the Pride Academy, classes officially began. While other disciples listened attentively, Xiao Nan sat dazed from lack of sleep. The system rewarded his laziness with bonus Kai. A teacher named Niu Jiaotap appeared, loudly introducing himself as the instructor. He lectured that cultivation required both talent and willpower, and today's topic was restraining elemental Kui. Scanning the class, Niu spotted Xiao Nan dozing off and instantly assumed disrespect. Xiao Nan politely denied it, secretly determined to stay lazy for the system buff. Kai and Data and others mocked him, calling him trash unworthy of the academy. Enraged, Niu declared he'd show the true gap between a genius and a slacker. Checking records, he saw Xiao Nan had a wood spiritual root and maliciously called fire-type students forward. Whispering broke out that Niu meant to use live combat to humiliate Xiao Nan. Suddenly, a muscular man slapped Xiao Nan's shoulder, coldly announcing he was the chosen one. Xiao Nan looked up and his face darkened in alert. The crowd murmured it was Taixang Xiexuan, a Nen-stage powerhouse, and everyone assumed Xiao Nan was doomed. Xiao Nan's gaze locked on Niu Jiatap's gloating face, clearly waiting for a tragedy. He pointed at his opponent, questioning the fairness of a teacher staging fights with students. Inwardly regretting his greed for buffs, his words made Niu erupt in rage, scolding him harshly and pressing down with a suffocating aura. To seem fair, Niu declared both sides' cultivation would be sealed to the same realm. In the arena, Xiao Nan and Taixang faced off, tension taut as a drawn bowstring. Jiao Jiatap smirked, confirming his guess that Xiao Nan was at the 4th stage, but Xiao Nan's sudden burst of spirit energy shocked him had already reached the 5th stage. Jiao instantly unleashed a sealing light, declaring the duel fixed at the 5th stage level. The seal forced both fighters to remain within 5th stage spirit power. Taixang ignited his fire aura. Vowing no mercy and trusting fire's dominance over wood, he launched his fiery tyrant fist, charging like a meteor. The crowd panicked, thinking Xiao Nan stood no chance against such an opening move. Even Jiao hesitated, fearing this might be too harsh for a new disciple. As the blazing punch neared Xiao Nan, the tension hit its peak. Jiao moved to intervene but was stopped by the Great Elder, who told him to observe. Outwardly obedient, Jiao secretly rejoiced at the chance to see Xiao Nan fail. Against all expectations, Xiao Nan stood still like a statue, refusing to dodge. When the punch landed, golden light flared. Taixang was blasted backward. Amid dust and shock, the loser bitterly realized luck can't outmatch true power. A calm voice rose through the haze, startling Taixang. Xiao Nan was still conscious. Xiao Nan brushed his robe, coolly mocking that punch is too weak to be called deadly. He sneered at his foe's strength while his system triggered massive body-boosting buffs. Everyone froze as Xiao Nan was merging all 5 elemental energies. Defying fire suppression, Xiao Nan mocked Taixang's cruelty, inwardly admitting the system had saved his life. Taixang gawked, baffled that his full strike did nothing. While Xiao Nan apologized sarcastically, wood energy surged as Xiao Nan signaled a counterattack, warning his opponent to brace. In a blink, his figure vanished completely into thin air. Taixang turned pale, had lost all sense of Xiao Nan's presence. In a flash, Xiao Nan appeared, slamming a palm into his gut with beast-like ferocity. He followed with a crushing kick to the chest, utterly defeating him. The spectators erupted as Xiao Nan's victory shattered the silence. Planting his foot on the fallen foe, Xiao Nan coldly mocked his weakness and short-sightedness. Jiao was forced to reconsider, suspecting Xiao Nan might be a hidden prodigy. Xiao Nan quietly rejoiced without the fire-dominating body. Had have lost, the thought made him clench his fists, unable to hide his thrill. He even taunted Jiao, calling Taixang a counterfeit, stabbing the man's pride. The disciples avoided Jiao's glare while he grudgingly praised Xiao Nan, turning it into a lesson about retreating wisely. After summarizing, Jiao straightened his robes, solemnly ending class and leading them to the scripture pavilion. Feng Jinta gushed over Xiao Nan's fire energy absorption, while Bing Yun and Moly analyzed his superior physique. The four secretly agreed to recruit Xiao Nan as a personal disciple, but Moly reminded them to compete fairly. Bing Yun suggested hiding their identities and letting skill decide the winner, which Moly quickly agreed to. The four exchanged glances, silently agreeing that their rivalry would depend on each one's tricks. The next morning, new disciples gathered before the scripture pavilion as Jiao announced 3 strict taboos for choosing techniques. He stressed fate decides the manuals, forbidding fights, and the disciples shouted their obedience in unison, signaling the start. Jiao opened the grand hall as mystical light spilled from within. On the first floor, the disciples gawked at the solemn vastness and the figures moving on higher levels. Xiao Nan and the newcomers were struck by the scale far beyond imagination. Kandata shoved forward noisily, pushing Xiao Nan aside to seize destiny first. Meanwhile, Gabe Midong calmly flaunted her knowledge and vowed to find an earth-grade art, annoying Xiao Nan by tailing him. Towering shelves filled with dusty tomes radiated an ancient aura. As he walked, Xiao Nan sighed that in the sea of manuals, finding a good one was nearly impossible. Scanning bizarre titles mixing romance with martial arts, he grabbed one at random only to be stunned by the pavilion's absurd variety. He could only bitterly admit this was a treasure trove of weirdness. While observing, he suddenly froze as his intuition screamed that something was off. The chilling sense of being watched made Xiao Nan break out in cold sweat. Looking around, he spotted a white-haired girl by the shelf, his cold senior sister from before. He immediately dismissed the thought, convinced someone so aloof wouldn't care about him. Still, he sneaked a glare, annoyed at her unblinking stare. The girl, Wu Yan, directly spoke up. They exchanged polite words about choosing techniques. Wu Yan quietly considered when to pass on her sword manual, while Xiao Nan secretly admired her icy beauty. Suddenly, she snatched the book from his hands, sternly asking if that was his chosen manual. Startling him, before he could explain, she read aloud the embarrassingly suggestive title. Wu Yan's face flushed crimson, her heart in chaos. Thinking Xiao Nan was hinting at her feelings, she grew shy and dazed, while Xiao Nan stood dumbfounded at her strange reaction. His system abruptly reported increased affection but lowered mental stability. Xiao Nan almost spat blood, baffled at how her affection rose for no reason. Before he recovered, Wu Yan solemnly shoved another book into his hands. Xiao Nan asked about it. Wu Yan calmly said she had watched his duel and found this art perfect for him. Opening the cover, the word sword cannon radiated an ancient, domineering aura. He instantly flipped to the first page, diving into its contents. In his mindscape, countless sword phantoms overlap, their light flooding his consciousness. Xiao Nan was stunned by its power as green aura erupted, forming twin glowing, mystical eyes. Wu Yan softly warned him to keep it secret and revealed she had cast an illusion spell to ensure his safe exit. Xiao Nan bowed deeply, sincerely expressing gratitude to her. When he closed the book, he noticed its title had changed to Great Wind Sword Art. Leaving the pavilion, Xiao Nan pondered the extraordinary origin of the technique and why the cold senior sister had helped him. A wild thought struck him. Perhaps his unique physique made even an icy senior reach out. Outside, he heard disciples crowding around Gaiba, marveling that he'd found a rare Earth-grade technique. Gaiba confidently flaunted his prize, an Earth-grade low-tier art. Acting humble while showing off, Jia also praised Gaiba, valuing his talent and urging him to cherish his fortune. Then suddenly, Jiao called Xiao Nan forward, demanding inspect his chosen technique. Caught off guard, Xiao Nan panicked inside, fearing the illusion might be exposed. Despite his nerves, he respectfully presented the Great Wind Sword Art with both hands. Seeing the title, Jiao looked disappointed, mocking Xiao Nan for picking only a mid-grade yellow art as latter erupted around. Amid the jeers, the system rewarded Xiao Nan with a divine soul, while he calmly argued that cultivation is about harmony, not rank. That mature reasoning made Jiao reconsider and, for once, prove Xiao Nan's grounded attitude. Yet soon after, he still bluntly called Xiao Nan mediocre, advising focus and returning the manual. Receiving it back, Xiao Nan bowed politely, forcing a smile to hide his mixed feelings. Only after Jiao left did he exhale, feeling like he'd narrowly escaped disaster. Night fell quickly, the bright moon draping the sword sect in silver calm. Back in his room, Xiao Nan carefully studied the manual and found he could train the first form. He opened his system panel, checking every stat from cultivation to soul power, comparing requirements. He realized few in the sect could master it fully. His faith in the system deepened. Lying down with the manual on his chest, he relaxed as the system announced comprehension of the first sword move had begun. Meanwhile, at Bing Yun's residence, she watched Xiao Nan through a spirit crystal, curious about his chosen technique. Seeing him lying motionless, she wondered if he was truly cultivating. Suddenly, she sensed something wrong, her instincts warning of serious danger. When Xiao Nan shifted into a meditation pose, the word sword cannon gleamed clearly before her eyes. Realizing the truth, Bing Yun's face hardened. This was Wu Yan's doing, a ploy to gain advantage. Fearing Xiao Nan's weak foundation might cause inner demons, she grabbed the crystal and rushed to stop him. Just then, the system declared Xiao Nan had broken through to the 6th stage, mastering the first sword form with massive stat boosts. In his room, Xiao Nan awoke, thrilled at both the breakthrough and his mastery, though sensing his body lagging behind. Gazing at the moon, he decided to enter the Flame Prison Peak cave to temper his physique and test the sword art. The moment the thought arose, his body moved instantly into action. Before long, Xiao Nan stood at the entrance of the Flame Prison, finding it deserted perfect for training. Just then, Bing Yun arrived. Spotting his familiar figure and her gaze darkened, she suspected Xiao Nan had recklessly entered danger when shouts from other disciples broke out. Looking over, Bing Yun saw 3 frightened disciples rushing toward them. But by the time they arrived, Xiao Nan had stepped into the secret realm, his figure swallowed by the blazing mist. Taizhen stopped at the cave mouth, eyes gloomy, vowing revenge for Tai Shang. Coldly ordering a chase, he led his men straight into the Flame Prison Peak cave. Bing Yun recognized Taizhen as a third-layer Kai refinement cultivator and worried Xiao Nan had provoked a tough foe. Inside, Xiao Nan drew out the gifted stone, its radiant light illuminating the dark cavern. Clutching the strange stone, he pressed deeper, each step burning as the system reported damage. But his fire, physique, and spirit stats soared. Realizing the danger was unbearable, he gave up testing the stone to avoid suicide. In the silence, faint footsteps echoed, and Xiao Nan instantly sensed a pursuer. Without hesitation, he retreated to ensure his safety. Moments later, Taizhen and his crew arrived at the exact spot he'd left, the toxic heat still lingering. 2 followers turned pale from poison and tried to warn him, but Taizhen brushed them off, insisting on chasing alone. Unfolding a pair of white wings, he burst forth with the aura of a descending predator. With a flap, he shot into the inner cave, fast as thunder, though he tore through layers of toxic air. Taizhen lost Xiao Nan's trail, confusion rising. Suddenly, Xiao Nan appeared behind him, slashing with a sharp burst of sword energy. Taizhen narrowly dodged, roaring insults as they clashed in a fierce battle. After a violent exchange, they separated and Xiao Nan realized this was Tai Xang's elder brother. Taizhen's killing intent erupted, dark purple mana forming giant claws lunging at Xiao Nan. The blow struck hard. Xiao Nan's sword barely blocked it, his arm bones nearly shattering. Fear gripped him. He wasn't a match for a Kai refinement cultivator. Taizhen sneered, mocking Xiao Nan's recklessness before channeling all his power into a lethal strike. The explosion rocked the realm, shadows and smoke blotting out both figures. Xiao Nan was blasted into a cliff wall, bloodied and mangled, but the system calmly boosted his stats, reminding him of the vast power gap. Mid the agony, regret flickered in his eyes, not for losing, but for not finishing his enemy sooner. Hovering above, Taizen laughed arrogantly, swearing to return his pain 100-fold. Facing the rage, Xiao Nan secretly hoped his foe kept attacking as long as the killing blow didn't come. He'd keep gaining power. As Taizen ranted on about vengeance, he realized Xiao Nan wasn't even listening, driving him mad enough to shout for attention. Before his shout even ended, Taizen dove down like a falling weapon, roaring that had choked Xiao Nan true hell. He unleashed steel eagle claws and meteor-like punches, the air howling under the force. Xiao Nan was struck hard before he could dodge, slamming to the ground, but system pop-ups rewarded XP, making him secretly delighted. Wiping blood and mud from his face, he looked up and taunted, beckoning his foe to continue. The arrogant gesture drove Taizen insane, cursing Xiao Nan for courting death. Blinded by rage, Taizen shot forward like an arrow, mind filled with murder. His ferocious palm slammed into Xiao Nan's chest like a tiger's strike, stunning him, yet the system cheerfully boosted stats again. Without pause, Taizen kicked with thunderous force. The system rained upgrades, pushing Xiao Nan's physique to 6th rank. Seeing Xiao Nan motionless, a henchman clapped, praising his boss for ending it in one move. But from the rubble, Xiao stirred and sat up slowly, leaving Taizen wide-eyed in disbelief. Bloodied all over, Xiao Nan grinned proudly, wiping his mouth and mocking if his opponent was already tired. Taizen froze, unable to believe his mighty blows felt like tickles, suspecting Xiao Nan's body built for pain just as a minion suggested using a formation. Taizen silently agreed, and the lackey drew a talisman, activating it before Xiao Nan. In a flash, a glowing array formed, green energy spiraling around Xiao Nan like a tightening storm. As it spun, the system bombarded him with fake debuffs that were actually massive training boosts. Stats skyrocketed nonstop. Watching his numbers surge like a flood, Xiao Nan rejoiced. This was the fastest power grind ever. Seeing him motionless, the others mocked, thinking he'd been completely restrained. Xiao Nan nodded faintly as if resigned, but inside, had already gathered enough energy to test his senior sister's sword art. He slowly raised one finger, pointing toward the dark sky. A thunderous shout erupted as golden spirit energy spiraled upward, forming a vast vortex above. Xiao Nan unleashed the first form of the sword cannon. The golden tempest exploded, sweeping the ground clean. Rocks flew, foes were thrown, and Taizen was caught in the chaos. Not stopping, Xiao Nan cast the second sword move, its blade aura ripping space like a dragon's descent. Taizen trembled, instinct screaming that this sword surpassed everything he'd known. His eyes widened in despair, unable to comprehend the overwhelming gap. The sword light fell like a meteor. Taizen was cleaved in half instantly, his blood splattering with the hatred of a fallen cultivator. His two halves hit the ground, cold and lifeless. Xiao Nan turned to the remaining two, smirking and asking if they wanted to try a sword too, sending them fleeing in terror. When silence returned, Xiao Nan collapsed to one knee, panting heavily. Drenched in sweat, he gritted his teeth, wondering just who senior sister Bang Shan really was. One sword move nearly drained his enhanced body dry. In his fading vision, Xiao Nan felt his life ebbing away, like a dying candle in this deadly cave. As his consciousness slipped, a moonlit figure appeared. Bing Yun rushed in, catching him with rare concern. She propped him up, her once-gold eyes now calm and tinged with admiration. In a soft voice, she admitted he had grasped the essence of a master's sword art in just one strike. His comprehension astonished her, and she felt relief. Had she come later, had have perished in the toxic pit. Her lips curved faintly as she teased that if he could understand that sword art, her Kai refining method would be child's play for him. The late-night moon hung high, silence blanketing the sword sect. Xiao Nan slowly awoke, vision blurred, momentarily thinking had reached an immortal realm. A hoarse breath escaped as he lay still, piecing together memories before he fainted. A gentle voice called him back. Seeing Bing Yun before him, he realized Shade saved him and clasped his hands in thanks. She gently pressed him down, scolding his reckless night stunt, while Xiao Nan awkwardly smiled, claiming he had just tested his new art. Observing closely, Bing Yun sensed he was far more guarded than he appeared. Lifting his chin, she said that art was only beginner level and hinted she possessed something far superior if he was interested. Before she finished, Xiao Nan abruptly sat up and pushed her away, flatly declaring no interest, leaving her stunned. Bing Yun's mind filled with questions. His reaction was utterly unlike what she expected. Xiao Nan calmly explained he would accept unearned gifts, knowing rare arts always came with strings, and politely declined. Without warning, Bing Yun grabbed his ear and twisted hard, making him yelp in pain. As she pinched, she forced out each word, declaring he would learn the secret art whether he liked it or not, while the system coolly noted a physique boost. Groaning, Xiao Nan joked inwardly about her heavy tastes, making Bing Yun so furious her words grew even sharper. She invoked her life-saving favor, twisting harder until Xiao Nan surrendered, apologizing and agreeing to listen. He comforted himself to endure for now, better suffer a bit and see how powerful this secret art truly was. Seeing him nod, Bing Yun shoved a manual into his hands, introducing it as Stellar Flame Refining Art and ordering him to meet her nightly at Hongshan Peak for lessons. Hearing that, Xiao Nan's face went pale, imagining endless night training, though the name did sound impressively high class. Seeing his gloom, She reassured him this was a rare fortune and promised that, with effort, he'd breeze through next month's trial. The two haggled over training schedules like street vendor Xiao Nan trying to bargain down, Bing Yun refusing to budge. At last, she settled on 5 days a week with a threat of force, making him quickly agree in fear. In that moment, Bing Yun secretly thought Xiao Nan's worry about slowing his sword cannon progress only deepened her irritation at that art's allure. Just then, a paper crane messenger fluttered in, drawing her attention. Catching it, Bing Yun read the message and realized the sect was facing an urgent matter. Without delay, Bing Yun departed, only reminding Xiao Nan to study alone and meet her in 5 days at Hongchen Peak. Before leaving, she tossed him a golden command token, making Xiao Nan sigh that fate kept handing him backers. Cheerfully, he thought life like this was basically a shortcut saving decades of struggle. But glancing at the manual, he sobered, realizing that without true strength, such backing would vanish quickly. Reading it, he muttered that the training requirements were brutal. The first stage alone demanded 7th-grade spirit roots and 6th-grade sub-attributes. Suddenly, a red beam shot out, making Xiao Nan's eyes widen in shock. His body blazed with heat as a fiery orb appeared below, and he panicked, clueless about what was happening. Inside the fireball, a hazy figure gradually took form, half real, half illusion. Looking closely, Xiao Nan froze. The image looked exactly like Sutisa. From the mirage, a woman emerged, wrapped in crimson aura glowing like festival lanterns. She began a sword dance, precise, dazzling, mesmerizing. The storm of sword light overwhelmed Xiao Nan, and just as he panicked, a red beam pierced his forehead. His eyes bulged in terror as his vision drowned in a sea of scarlet spirit light. The system chimed had grasped the first stage of stellar flame refining art and gained comprehension points. Hearing that, Xiao Nan reopened the manual, focusing hard on further study. After a long while, he closed it, eyes deep in thought. He reasoned that what had experienced must be the unique initiation of this technique. Convinced it rivaled the sword cannon, he saw his stats updated, both physique and roots now ranked far higher. Holding the manual, Xiao Nan pondered the origins of those two women, but the system instantly rewarded more insight points. Smiling contentedly, he thought this was a heaven-defying fortune rising by borrowing others' power step by step. Meanwhile, in the sect's main hall, 4 women gathered urgently to discuss the Teichu city's plan to host the spring trial early. Bing Yun coolly analyzed that while it seemed a disciple test, it was truly a cover power contest between great factions. Another woman frowned, wondering why the event was so sudden. The elder explained that rogue cultivators had flooded the unstable secret realm, forcing all sects to participate. Some noted that the 4-sect action proved the matter grave and proposed selecting suitable candidates early. The elder proudly presented a list of 8 elite disciples entering Kwai refinement, confident they'd make rival sects wary. Bing Yun glanced at the list and asked who would lead Teichu City's team. She was told it would likely be No Lan Goer, their once-in-a-century prodigy. Hearing the name, Bing Yun's eyes flickered with interest, quietly taking note. Seeing her reaction, the instructor curiously asked if something was amiss. Bing Yun instantly regained her icy composure, ordering a sect tournament in 1 week to pick the top 8 and restore the sword sect's glory. Despite her stern tone, her mind drifted to Xiao Nan, curious how he'd react upon meeting his former fiancée again. The next morning, Xiao Nan showed up at the sect gate half asleep, like someone dragged out of a dream. Rubbing his eyes, he saw disciples rushing up the mountain as if late for the apocalypse. Seeing the chaos, Xiao Nan asked around and learned the instructor had called an emergency assembly. Being late meant punishment. Soon, everyone gathered neatly in the martial square as the instructor shouted for silence. He announced that the 4 great sects had found a new secret realm and would hold early trials. The sword sect would pick 8 representatives via a grand martial contest. Curious, Xiao Nan asked what the sect trial was and learned it was a regular spring test to gauge strength and pick talents. He nodded wisely, quoting "Know yourself and your enemy," making others stare. Apparently, the sleepyhead had a brain. The instructor declared that the top 8 would represent the sword sect to compete across the land, bringing glory to the sect. Xiao Nan loudly asked how dangerous this secret realm was compared to Yan Prison Peak. The instructor replied sternly that the Scarlet Flame Inferno held countless fortunes but was far deadlier than the Yan Prison. The disciples panicked, muttering that newbies entering it would be signing a death wish. Seeing everyone shrink back like baby birds in a storm, the instructor sighed and said if no one volunteered, he'd pick the strongest newbies himself. Just as tension peaked, Xiao Nan stepped forward, boldly volunteering. Thrilled by the idea of danger, the instructor squinted, mocking that Xiao Nan had only reached the 5th spirit tier before his sudden jump to 6 seemed fishy. Calmly, Xiao Nan asked whether the sect rules forbade spiritier disciples from signing up. The instructor admitted there was no such ban but advised him not to let ambition outrun ability. The crowd jeered that Xiao Nan was overestimating himself, shaming the sword sect, while he stood silent, face dark as storm clouds. Meanwhile, his system quietly activated, converting every insult into soul power. Outwardly bored, Xiao Nan was inwardly delighted. Mockery was now free fuel for growth. Suddenly, he fired back with passion, saying if everyone cowered, no one would protect the sect in disaster and vow to win. The disciples froze in awe of his spirit, while Xiaonan secretly wished for more insults to harvest. Even the instructor's gaze softened from scorn to respect, admitting he'd underestimated Xiaonan's resolve. The fiery mood spread. Many disciples cheered, saying his courage was worth following despite low cultivation. Then came an unexpected declaration that hit Xiaonan like a death sentence. He was stunned that everyone took it seriously. As he stood dazed, Ling Shu coldly mocked that a mere 60-year spirit cultivator wasn't fit to compete. The host from Nanzhou frowned, demanding to know who had spoken. Ling Shu smugly declared himself a half-step Kai refiner, proudly claiming to be the 8th rookie to reach that level. Xiaonan calmly pointed out that beating the opponent would naturally earn him the trial spot. Ling Shu sneered, mocking that relying on a mid-year sword art to challenge him was laughable. Xiaonan coldly set the duel for 1 week later. When the day came, blue and purple energies clashed violently before the crowd. Among them, black-haired girl frowned softly, whispering Xiaonan's name. Memories of her past life surged. Xiaonan had once destroyed their sect, killed her, and burned Teichu holy sect to ashes. She realized in horror that the man who doomed the sect 500 years later was this very Xiaonan, and that she had been reborn. Soon, the host declared the winner to be Nil Lan Go Nai. She drew her sword to cheers, leaving the defeated boy kneeling in gloom. Guni joyfully told her master shed one thanks to a heaven-tier sword art. While the master quietly pondered Xiaonan's future fame, she felt the urge to eliminate Xiaonan early to protect the sect, but hesitated, fearing conflict with the sword sect and repeating tragedy. Seeing her master unusually silent, Gunai softly called out, puzzled. The master asked if she could mend her engagement with Xiaonan, leaving her shocked and annoyed at the mention of that name. The master secretly considered reconciling while Xiaonan was still weakened, believing broken ties could be mended. Defiant, Gunai proudly declared she'd never return once severed. Scorning Xiaonan as unworthy, the master patiently advised caution, reminding her Xiaonan was once a prodigy. But Gunai mocked that fear of his rise made her hesitant. Deeply insulted, the master furiously punished her for insolence and disrespect. Gunai immediately knelt, outwardly meek and apologetic. Inside, hatred burned. She swore never to let Xiaonan appear in her life again. She secretly made a blood oath to one day personally destroy Xiaonan and erase the stain of the past. Xiaonan appeared amid the crowd shining like a star, yet looking lost as if unsure of his next move. He leaned on his hand smugly, thinking no opponent could threaten him if veterans once fell. A mere youth was nothing. He mused that a few extra resources would be perfect. Right as the system panel displayed his full stats: body, cultivation, roots, and realm. Remembering the origin of his pills, he smacked his forehead. Senior Sister Loli of Medicine Peak might still be worth milking for benefits. She sat with a book, dazed, muttering his name in annoyance, guessing he'd gone missing training with another senior sister. Her brows furrowed, torn between worry and irritation, knowing both senior sisters had already taught him. She grew anxious, afraid she'd be left behind if she didn't act fast. Just as she decided to act, she bumped into someone familiar. Xiaonan appeared, softly asking who she was waiting for. Facing him, she froze, her heartbeat skipping and cheeks flushing from sudden emotion. Like finding a lifeline, she rushed to hug him tightly, choking with joy that had finally shown up. The sudden intimacy left Xiaonan stiff as a statue, questioning her while inwardly screaming in shock and frustration. Her alluring gaze made him gulp nervously as danger alarms rang nonstop in his head. To escape the awkwardness, he quickly asked her purpose, while she slyly pulled a hidden gift from her sleeve. Hearing treasure, Xiaonan lit up instantly as she smiled mysteriously. Ready to unveil something rare, she handed him a special scroll, explaining it was a technique useful for his upcoming duel. He snatched it eagerly, shouting agreement, thrilled to just scored a priceless find. Without delay, he opened it, eyes glued to the text. Realizing it was an alchemy art, he rejoiced, thinking he could now craft pills himself. Seeing his excitement, she smiled in satisfaction, impressed that he knew how to seize chances. Then he pointed at a key section, seriously asking her to teach him the explosive fire pill technique. She carefully explained it was a dangerous pill meant as a weapon, not for consumption. With wary eyes, she warned him of the consequences of cheating in the duel. Xiaonan frantically waved it off, claiming he only wanted it for self-defense during training. In truth, his reckless plan for the pill stayed tightly sealed in his mind. Believing his words, she set a lesson 3 days later. While he felt both joy and dread at facing his senior sister again, his casual attitude sparked Jinsha's fury. Her cold face made clear she demanded answers. Her temper boiled over as she blamed two fox spirits for conspiring with his senior sisters. She closed in threateningly, forcing Xiaonan to nod under pressure before leaving. Setting their meeting at Medicine Peak, he stood there gloomy, lamenting how a proud man could be toyed around by a sly little fox. 7 days later, on a cloud-shrouded peak, all disciples gathered in anticipation. On the high days, the sect master watched while the crowd gossiped about Xiaonan's odds against Ling Shu. Most mocked him, saying the realm gap was too vast and had surely lose miserably. Ling Shu publicly taunted that Xiaonan was too scared to even show up. Just then, Xiaonan struck down like lightning, laughing mockingly as he arrived. Landing firmly, he declared coolly that the important one always arrives last. Realizing the jab, Ling Shu's eyes flared with rage as he spat back insults. His aura erupted wildly, metal-type spirit power surging as he vowed to crush Xiao Nan. The crowd gasped at the fierce metallic energy. Certain Xiao Nan was doomed. Xiao Nan stayed calm, mocking in ancient style that his opponent was all bark and no bite. Ling Shu roared and charged like an arrow, but Xiao Nan narrowly dodged in style. Drawing his sword, Xiao Nan's icy eyes shone with open disdain. Both unleashed power at once, their clash exploding like thunder across the arena. After several fierce exchanges, Xiao Nan grunted in pain, blood seeping down his sword hand as his grip weakened. At that moment, a hidden mechanism activated, recording his wounds and boosting his foundation dramatically. Ling Shu pressed the attack, hurling insults nonstop as he struck. Though forced back, Xiao Nan calmly mocked that his foe was all talk. As he finished, crimson flame-like aura erupted from him, shaking the ground. Ling Shu gawked, unable to believe Xiao Nan possessed such terrifying sword energy. Overwhelmed, Ling Shu faltered, his confidence crumbling under Xiao Nan's dominance. Standing tall, Xiao Nan sneered that the braggart was already retreating. Ling Shu steadied himself, grudgingly admitting Xiao Nan's strength yet insisting the gap remained vast. Xiao Nan cut him off, biting sarcasm, leaving Ling Shu humiliated. The crowd burst out laughing, agreeing Ling Shu truly talked too much. The latter sliced like knives, darkening Ling Shu's face with rage. He poured fury into power, spirit energy exploding as he vowed no more mercy. Xiao Nan only smirked coldly, daring him to strike. Amid the tense duel, Wu Yan suddenly turned away, confusing Bingya. She declared the outcome already set, awed by Xiao Nan's talent, while Ling Shu unleashed his golden ultimate, summoning a phantom eagle and a storm of sword ki. Under the relentless assault, Xiao Nan merely smirked, utterly unshaken. His eyes burned with battle spirit as he calmly stepped back from the incoming storm. At the crucial instant, the system triggered, converting damage into strength, doubling his core foundation. Feeling the change, he swiftly concluded his opponent lagged far behind in true combat skill. Below, the crowd gasped. Xiao Nan's aura now cut like a divine blade newly forged. On stage, his sword danced like a deadly waltz, every move graceful yet lethal. The instructor watched in awe, realizing this was no mere great wind sword art. Moly leapt up in shock, recognizing it as second senior sister's secret sword scripture. Though no one knew how Xiao Nan learned it, their powers clashed head-on, sword kai and spirit energy mixing into a chaotic haze. Suddenly, Xiao Nan vanished from sight, leaving Ling Shu utterly disoriented. Before he could react, Xiao Nan appeared ghost-like behind him, sword raised with a thunderous shout. Ling Shu had no time to defend and took a crushing blow from behind. Crimson blaze erupted like divine fire, engulfing him amid screams that echoed through the peaks. Ling Shu crashed to the ground, defeated miserably, stunning the audience and sparking countless questions. Xiao Nan sheathed his sword calmly, assuring all that the opponent merely feinted, no intent to kill. Ling Shu lay sprawled, dazed, while Xiao Nan coldly mocked his fragility. Turning to the crowd, Xiao Nan openly declared the 8th spot his if anyone dared to contest it. He casually invited all challengers to step forward. The aura swirling around him surged mightily, and fear swept the crowd. Many now believed he was the strongest of the new disciples. In the high hall, instructors and elders debated in disbelief over the origin of Xiao Nan's sword scripture and his ability to surpass his realm. After deliberation, Instructor Niu officially proclaimed Xiao Nan the 8th champion of the 4 sect spring trials. Xiao Nan bowed respectfully to all sides, already plotting how to restore his energy after the battle. The status panel appeared, showing Xiao Nan's cultivation, dual spirit roots, and secret arts all reaching formidable levels. The next morning, Sword Sect Peak lay veiled in lingering mist. Xiao Nan stood hesitantly outside a room, softly calling for his senior sister. Hearing no reply, he stepped in. The thick scent of herbs revealed recent alchemy work. Suddenly, an arm wrapped tightly around his waist from behind, Jin Shu appeared, embracing him with a soft voice that startled him half to death. Xiao Nan hurriedly pulled her hands away, asking where she had been. She gently said she'd just returned. Jin Shu excitedly bragged her furnace was almost ready and offered to teach him beginner alchemy. Hopping beside the cauldron, she passionately lectured about the alchemist's path. Focusing on the flame, she used the explosive fire pill as an example of ingredient quality. Xiao Nan nodded quickly but couldn't help staring at her snow-white legs. Sensing something off, Jin Shu glanced over with sharp suspicion. Reading his thoughts, she leaned closer, coyly asking him to remove her shoes because of the heat. Amid the shimmering heat, Jin Shu looked enchanting, while Xiao Nan stood still, calm as autumn water. She secretly wondered if her senior's old tricks could tame him. Thinking he was immune, she was stunned when he suddenly blushed and stiffly tried to stay proper. Under the excuse of handling the explosive fire pill, Xiao Nan reluctantly knelt to help, apologizing while inwardly miserable. When his hand brushed her foot, Jin Shu shivered in shy thrill, while Xiao Nan blushed nearly to combustion. Losing control for a second, Xiao Nan accidentally slapped her thigh, the sound echoing through the room. Jin Shu gasped softly in shock. Just then, the door burst open. Moly stormed in, roaring accusations. Without a word, she grabbed Xiao Nan by the collar and dragged him outside. He stumbled in panic, while Jin Shu frowned, scolding Moly for barging in unannounced. Moly coldly demanded why Xiao Nan had touched Jin Shi's leg. She suspected Jin Shi's true identity was exposed and threatened to report to the first senior sister. Jin Shu quickly covered her mouth, hurriedly explaining it was all a misunderstanding. At the same time, she sent a secret warning one more word could expose a deeper secret. Xiao Nan stood dazed, starting to suspect Jin Shu was hiding something big. Jin Shu tried to stay calm, fumbling for an excuse. Xiao Nan reasoned to himself that it must be strict sect rules and endured for the sake of the explosive fire pill. He cleared his throat, solemnly claiming he was merely treating her leg injury. Under Mola's doubtful gaze, Xiao Nan improvised a family health technique, rambling about improving blood flow until both women were dizzy. Moly still looked skeptical, but Jin Shu confirmed it worked, saying she indeed felt much better afterward. Thinking it over, she realized Xiao Nan's quick recovery after battles must come from that bizarre art. Enlightened, Moly asked if he could help her next time too, and Xiao Nan cheerfully agreed, suddenly changing her mind. Moly asked Jin Shu to lend Xiao Nan to her for a few days. Hearing the word lend, Xiao Nan's spine went cold, questioning his own identity. Jin Shu instantly flared up, loudly refusing, insisting she was still teaching him alchemy. Moly mocked alchemy as a dusty, useless trade, prompting Jin Shu to snap back, calling it the very pillar of the cultivation world. The two kept bickering, comparing formations to alchemy, neither willing to yield. Caught in the middle, Xiao Nan hurriedly intervened to calm things down. Suddenly, Moly pulled him to her side, firmly recruiting him to study formations under her. Losing her student in front of her, Jin Shu roared in outrage, declaring Xiao Nan her alchemy disciple. Moly used her height advantage to push Jin Shu's head down, making her struggle furiously. Just as tension peaked, a blinding golden light erupted inside the room. Moly instantly sensed danger and channeled energy into defense. The alchemy furnace exploded violently, sending all three flying like broken kites. As the smoke cleared, the wrecked room appeared before them. Seeing the shattered remains, all three felt a pang of sorrow for the once sapriceless artifact. Jin Shu bowed her head, apologizing for failing to deliver the explosive fire pill, while Xiao Nan comforted her. Suddenly, Xiao Nan's eyes lit up as he noticed something on the ground. Picking up several intact pills, he realized with joy that they had evolved into enhanced explosive fire pills. While Xiao Nan reveled in delight, Moly leaned close and whispered an offer to escape. Without hesitation, Xiao Nan hid the pills in his robe. Eyes gleaming with calculation, Moly grabbed his hand and flew skyward, declaring she'd take him to the hidden cloud dragon vein for learning and experience. The two vanished swiftly, leaving Jin Shu screaming in fury, vowing not to forgive Moly. In midair, Xiao Nan nervously asked why she was still teaching him before the spring trials, but Moly reassured him no one would report it. Inside, Moly resolved to claim him first amid the silent struggle among elders for Xiao Nan's talent. Xiao Nan could only sigh helplessly, feeling trapped in forces beyond his control. Under the tranquil moonlight, they glided through the night sky like immortals drifting above clouds. They landed before a shadowy forest, and Xiao Nan curiously asked if this was the hidden cloud dragon vein. Moly walked deeper in silence, forcing him to follow while he kept questioning their purpose. She explained this was a perilous zone filled with spirit beasts and rare treasures, far deadlier than any secret realm. Moly solemnly stressed that only through true life and death struggle could one unleash hidden potential before the spring trials. Hearing life and death, Xiao Nan panicked, knowing his 60-year cultivation was too fragile for such risk. Moly calmed him, promising to teach a powerful combat art that might even help him break through. She lit a campfire while Xiao Nan marveled at how clearly she saw through his cultivation flaws. Seeing his hesitation, Moly asked bluntly, emphasizing this was a once-in-a-lifetime chance. After inner struggle, Xiao Nan agreed and even confessed his secret of a backfiring cultivation system. He consoled himself to move forward, hoping the hidden cloud dragon vein would become his stepping stone. A soft sound suddenly echoed, making Xiao Nan look up curiously. Without warning, she tossed a gleaming metallic sphere at him. He caught it just as she began to speak, holding the strange object. Xiao Nan asked about its origin in puzzlement. Moly calmly explained that across the 21 provinces, only a few such spirit stones existed, used to refine formation cores, the very foundation of a formation's power and complexity. Hearing that, Xiao Nan was stunned, guessing it was a heaven-born treasure, while Moly calmly confirmed it wasn't supreme grade but still a rare gem of immense value. Feeling the stone's warm glow, Xiao Nan grew suspicious of his senior sister's unusual generosity. Before he could ask, Moly abruptly changed the topic, inquiring about his progress with Dan Wu Yan's sword art. Xiao Nan scratched his head awkwardly, admitting he'd barely grasped the opening form. Assessing his strength, Moly pointed at a nearby boulder and ordered him to attack with full power. Obediently, Xiao Nan stepped forward with solemn focus, as if preparing for a sacred rite. Heat surged through his body, skin glowing red like molten iron. Within the blazing aura, he suddenly unleashed his ultimate move, his hand turning into a fiery blade. A thunderous explosion ripped through the air, crimson light tearing apart the quiet night. In an instant, the giant rock split cleanly in two, deep scorch marks cutting across its face. Moly secretly marveled, now understanding why Dan Wu Yan insisted on recruiting him. This youth's potential was immeasurable. Beaming proudly, Xiao Nan turned back, expecting praise. Instead, Moly coolly called his strike acceptable for his realm, her faint compliment hitting like cold water. Without giving him time to bask, she flicked her fingers. Green spirit lines formed a glowing jade-like formation around them. The pattern expanded swiftly, creating a protective dome of dim light. Facing Xiao Nan, she instructed him to repeat the same move within the formation, and he nodded lightly, as commanded. He channeled his power. The spirit stone blazed so brightly it hurt to look at. Taking a sip from her gourd, Moly explained coldly that formations amplified spirit energy by one's foundation. Few could even trigger them. Just as she predicted, Xiao Nan's aura swelled, his crimson energy roaring upward, revealing his rare affinity for formation cultivation. At that instant, his internal system activated under the formation's influence, displaying paradoxical readings of energy and damage, flooded with warning alerts. Xiaonan paled, horrified as his power suddenly turned against him. His eyes glowed blooded, aura heavy like a war god cornered. Without hesitation, he poured out every ounce of strength, unleashing crimson radiance to shatter all restraints. Ironically, the attack slammed straight into the ground, leaving Moly stunned and embarrassed by the pitiful misfire. Xiao Nan turned back, face burning in shame, stammering for an explanation. As he fumbled, Moly began doubting her own formation. Realizing his power had been nullified unnaturally, refusing to accept defeat, she rapidly invoked multiple fire formations, desperate to reverse the outcome. But every attempt failed miserably. Xiao Nan's strikes fizzled like sparks in a storm, crushing her hopes entirely. Utterly dejected, Moly slumped to the ground, questioning how her formation arts could turn useless. After some hesitation, Xiao Nan cautiously suggested trying a weakening type array, which shocked and angered her. Seeing his wary senior sister, he forced a nervous smile, assuring her that with her skill, surely a suitable array existed. After some thought, Moly finally agreed and decided to deploy a special formation. Channeling her spiritual power, a green barrier appeared under Xiao Nan's feet. As she explained, it suppresses the target's energy. The system glitched, flipping the suppression effect into an explosive boost that sent Xiao Nan's power skyrocketing. Ecstatic, he shouted with joy at regaining that long-lost feeling. Power gathered in his arm, his dense aura roaring like thunder from heaven. Without delay, Xiao Nan unleashed a full-force strike like a storm to prove his worth. The impact split the ground before him, leaving a deep chasm as if cleaved by divine might. Moly froze, stunned that such a basic array could yield heaven-defying results. Xiao Nan bragged gleefully while Moly just stared silently, eyes full of complex emotion. Watching his smug face, Moly admitted the array experiment had wildly exceeded expectations. Without fuss, she tossed him a cultivation manual, instructing him in force control, cloud shift, and hinting at deeper array mastery ahead. Overjoyed, Xiao Nan accepted, envisioning a vast cultivation path, then casually asked about their next move. Gazing at the horizon, Moly coolly replied they'd depart for the rogue cultivator assembly at dawn. At sunrise, they reached Earth Dragon Town, bustling with wanderers recruiting teams to hunt treasures in the mountains. Moly warned Xiao Nan most here were only 5th stage and she wouldn't intervene during the upcoming trial. Curious, Xiao Nan asked which kind of assembly to join, prompting Moly to explain the two main rogue team types. She advised him to pick a temporary team since in the wild, killing for a reason was fair play and sex wouldn't meddle. After hearing that, Xiao Nan approached a burly man to join, only to be mocked for his unverified cultivation. Irritated at the insult, Xiao Nan muttered sarcastically, feeling his temper flare. Without arguing, he slammed his palm into a nearby wall, blasting it apart in a cloud of dust. A loud statement of real strength. Standing calmly with hands behind his back, Xiao Nan asked lightly, making the man pale and agree instantly. The wary cultivator glanced toward Moly, quietly asking if she'd be joining too. Xiao Nan casually put an arm around her, half-jokingly calling them husband and wife, making Moly blush yet secretly pleased. The group headed into the forest as the system updated Xiao Nan's stats: cultivation, physique, affinity, and array mastery all vastly improved. While Moly lounged atop a branch, Xiao Nan reviewed his gains right before a ferocious beast suddenly appeared. The team leader panicked, shouting it was an 8th rank stone python extremely deadly. The serpent lunged at terrifying speed, leaving the group frozen in despair. In a flash, it snapped up an unfortunate cultivator. The victim was swallowed whole, blood splattering in a gruesome scene. After feeding, the python's cold violet eyes scanned around, seeking its next prey. Amid the chaos, the leader shouted for everyone to form a formation or face total annihilation. The cultivators hurriedly joined forces, setting up an array to stall the beast. While others panicked, Xiao Nan's eyes gleamed, sensing a golden opportunity. Sword aura erupted as his power peaked, the blade blazing like living fire. With one heaven-splitting slash, the stone python's head flew off and thudded to the ground. The whole team gawked in stunned silence at the massive corpse, a miracle in flesh. The mid-aged leader, deeply moved, promised to share half the 8th rank beast core in gratitude. Just then, an arrogant voice echoed as a new group appeared, radiating oppressive might. A handsome young man stepped forward, proudly naming himself Yi Wushu of the Dao Valley. Meanwhile, Moly's expression turned cold as she edged closer to Xiao Nan. Clearly on guard, Xiao Nan whispered for intel, and Moly calmly explained Dao Valley was a rival power eyeing the 4 sect trial. Definitely not friendly. Yu Wushu squinted, interrogating the team with a tone that reeked of dominance. He casually declared he'd kill them for their spoils, enraging the leader into a reckless attack. Yu Wushu sidestepped effortlessly, coldly noting his opponent's pitiful cultivation. With open contempt, he mocked the man's resistance as a clown show. A twist of his wrist shattered the foe's arm, drawing a scream that chilled the air. The victim collapsed, furious and humiliated but utterly helpless. Yu Wushu proudly proclaimed the strong decide life and death, demanding the beast core to fuel his breakthrough. His spiritual power blazed gold, an overwhelming aura proving he'd reached the high refining Kwai stage. Xiao Nan's system instantly registered the pressure, boosting his stats and sparking excitement for a new challenge. The team leader tried to rally the others, urging strength in numbers against tyranny. Yu Wushu calmly summoned a gleaming spear, exuding the air of a sovereign. One sweeping strike unleashed a storm of violent energy that wiped everything before him. The man frantically drew his sword to block, clinging to the last shred of dignity. Even the aftershock made his weapon tremble as he realized death was seconds away. At the fatal moment, Xiao Nan shoved him aside and took the blow himself, coughing blood from the devastating hit. The system blared a severe injury alert but paradoxically enhanced his physique and resilience. Knockback yet composed, Xiao Nan was caught by the grateful, anxious middle-aged man. Yu Wushu watched with disdain, seeing them as worthless ants. Xiao Nan calmly wiped his blood and mocked him, comparing his rage to a barking dog at midnight. The jab ignited Yu Wushu's fury. He snarled, demanding Xiao Nan repeat himself. Unflinching, Xiao Nan openly mocked his intelligence, contempt radiating from every word. Yu Wushu exploded with golden spiritual light so bright Xiao Nan had to shield his eyes from blindness. Under the crushing pressure, the system amplified Xiao Nan's spirit, pushing him into a new rank. Yu Wushu roared and charged like a beast, his golden spear shadow dominating heaven and earth. Dao Valley disciples cheered wildly, praising Yu Wushu's unmatched talent and physique. Amid the noise, Xiao Nan's battle hunger flared. He decided to test his newly learned technique. His energy surged, deep crimson flames cloaked his body, signaling an explosive clash ahead. The middle-aged man warned nervously, while Moly watched silently, eyes focused, ignoring them. Xiao Nan kept channeling his pseudo-celestial fire, heat waves rippling through the air. Blazing palm strike burst forth, slamming straight toward Yu Wushu. The result defied reason. Yu Wushu's eyes widened in disbelief. He screamed as the blow sent him flying like a leaf in a storm. The crash shattered a massive tree, echoing eerily through the forest. Dao Valley disciples panicked, shouting Yu Wushu's name in terror. From that instant, Yu Wushu's arrogance vanished, while Xiao Nan silently admitted that without the system's boost, victory would have been uncertain. The system logged critical condition and inversely surged Xiao Nan's spirit, roots, and body strength. Gasping on one knee, Yu Wushu weighed the upcoming spring trial and ordered a retreat to preserve his future. Xiao Nan casually mocked him with a polite farewell, sarcasm dripping beneath the calm. Before leaving, Yu Wushu coldly vowed revenge, promising double payback next time. As his group withdrew, he commanded an investigation into Xiao Nan's identity before disappearing into the woods. Moly sternly warned Yu Wushu would be a dangerous foe in the spring trial, but Xiao Nan accepted their enmity without care, swallowing the beast core whole. He mused that once he finished cultivating, Yu Wushu would be child's play. The grateful middle-aged man offered 70 beast cores as thanks. Xiao Nan calmly accepted with a bow. Moly reminded him it was time to leave. Xiao Nan glanced at her and nodded. They pretended intimacy as they departed, Moly leaning on his shoulder like a frightened wife, ensuring no one stopped them. Watching them fade away, the remaining cultivators praised Xiao Nan's loyalty and righteousness. On the road, Moly teased him about hoarding so many beast cores. Xiao Nan's deadpan reply made her laugh dryly, chin raised confidently. Xiao Nan admitted he didn't mind pocketing the profit. Suddenly, he stopped, clutching his chest as pain flickered across his face. Moly first thought he was joking and scolded him with a frown, but when he spat blood, pale and trembling, she panicked and called his name. Xiao Nan collapsed in her arms, and Moly held him tightly in fright. She inwardly admitted Yu Wushu was truly formidable. Victory still came at a heavy cost. Exhausted, Xiao Nan weakly asked to rest, leaving Moly torn between worry and affection. She let him rest his head on her lap, soothing him gently like a doting master. Thus, Xiao Nan drifted into deep sleep, unaware as time quietly slipped by. Half asleep, he stirred, mumbling in discomfort. Before opening his eyes, he heard Mola's voice, and the sight that greeted him left his mind blank. After being stared at too long, Moly blushed furiously and threatened punishment if he didn't get up. Xiao Nan lipped up, face crimson, stammering nonsense. Then he noticed Mola's pale face and trembling body, as if about to collapse. Alarmed, he caught her, asking anxiously. She only replied weakly with hidden meaning. Moly scolded him for sleeping so well his head made her legs go numb, leaving Xiao Nan speechless and apologetic. Patiently, she explained that fighting above one's level causes heavy damage. Stressing formations were now his lifeline. She then produced a rectangular artifact, seriously explaining arrays differ greatly from ordinary techniques. Pouring energy into the array, she told Xiao Nan to calm his mind and sense its operational flow to learn setup. As soon as she finished, Xiao Nan flopped flat on the ground, making Moly frown in confusion. He calmly said it was his self-invented method, studying arrays while lying down. Right then, The system chimed first array comprehension initiated. Insight points increased. Moly crossed her arms, stared for a while, then sighed in exasperation. She began forming hand seals, her aura rippling and drawing Xiao Nan's curiosity. Moly gave him a glance and said coolly, "Wait and see." Soon, light flared and the earth shook as a massive creature emerged from the glow. Seeing that, Xiao Nan turned pale, trembling as he asked what she was doing. Moly casually introduced the beast, a summoned 8th rank ironback tiger, for his training. The tiger glared at Xiao Nan like prey. He groaned in despair while Moly coldly declared real combat was the only true path. With that, Moly calmly went to bathe in a nearby spring, leaving Xiao Nan ghostly pale and muttering about mental preparation. Alone against the beast, Xiao Nan quickly gauged its power mid to high refining Kai stage, body far tougher than humans. Deciding to treat it as target practice, he provoked the tiger with energy bursts, triggering a life-or-death clash. The beast swung its claws down with crushing might, but upon entering the array's boundary, it was instantly suppressed by immense pressure. Xiao Nan seized the opening, killing intent igniting. He darted forward like lightning, his sword light slicing the air faster than sight. The direct stab to the tiger's head, however, barely scratched its armor like skin. His full force strike only nicked the beast near the eye. Forced to retreat, Xiao Nan admitted the creature's body was like living steel. Recalling Moly's teaching, he studied the array and spotted a weakness in its right side aura flow. Before he could act, the ironback tiger lunged like a living cannonball, murderous intent overflowing. Xiao Nan dodged swiftly, keeping his stance defensive while tracking every move. The system suddenly activated a mode massive energy drain in exchange for explosive attack power. On the edge of death, Xiao Nan roared his intent to finish it. His aura erupted, his figure shooting skyward with boosted speed. From above, he struck down like thunder, but the agile beast dodged, making Xiao Nan laugh in wild excitement. He kept provoking and dove into close combat, fists blurring as he forced the ironback tiger into submission under sheer might. Then, coincidence struck at the perfect turning point. By a forest stream, Moly lounged lazily on a mossy rock, serene as an immortal untouched by the world. She suddenly opened her eyes, murmuring that Xiao Nan had struck the weak point. Clever indeed. A strange aura swept by, instantly putting her on alert. Moly rushed off and found a dragon beast strangling Shu Yanjio in deadly peril. Nearby, the restrained woman raged, while her captor coldly treated life and death as trivial. Fearing Shu Yanjio's death, Moly intervened, pointing out the attacker's unstable state. The dragon tightened its grip and spat out a glowing object of unknown nature. Seeing things spiral, Moly immediately activated a grand array. The formation erupted in star-like brilliance, flooding the area in cascading light. With a sky-shaking roar, Moly dashed like wind, reaching Shu Yanjio just before the killing blow. Shu Yanjio shut her eyes, bitterly accepting death so soon after rebirth. Just as her body was about to fall, Moly caught her, laying her gently against a nearby boulder. Gazing at the unconscious girl, Moly worried Xiao Nan might appear and steal her as a disciple. Determined to prevent that, she whispered softly and fed Shu Yanjio a healing pill. Finished, Moly turned and walked away without a hint of hesitation. Before vanishing, she left a soothing farewell. While elsewhere Xiao Nan still battled fiercely, the system pinged. His fire spirit power surged, cultivation leaping to the 8th stage. His aura roared like a volcano. Xiao Nan proudly declared it broken through. He quickly calculated how to exploit his new array synergy. Before finishing, golden energy gathered in his palm for a lethal strike. The ironback tiger screamed as the blow shattered its core, spiritual energy bursting like a collapsing tide. Within moments, the beast disintegrated into ash. Utterly defeated, Xiao Nan exhaled in relief, vowing to find Moly immediately. He set off at once, shouting her name as he ran. The silent night forest offered no reply. After scouring the area with no trace, irritation and worry crept in. Suddenly, a metallic scent of blood drifted on the wind, freezing him in place. Bad feelings struck. He feared Moly was in danger. Without hesitation, Xiao Nan launched forward at full speed. He halted beside a massive rock, eyes scanning warily. Ahead lay a dark cave, and he entered, calling out Moly's name. No senior sister, but instead, Shu Yanjio lay before him. Seeing her robes, Xiao Nan immediately recalled Techu Holy Sect and his former fiancée. At that moment, Shu Yanjio slowly awakened, her gaze locking onto him. Recognizing his familiar face, she gasped and called out. Xiao Nan blinked, completely clueless about who she meant. He stepped forward to help her up, confusion written all over his face. Shu Yanjio's cheeks flushed as she went limp in his arms. Murmuring that she felt cold, she instinctively snuggled closer, making Xiao Nan both flustered and panicked. After a brief struggle, he decided saving her mattered more than propriety. Xiao Nan gently embraced her to share warmth, while Shu Yanjio sighed contentedly at the comfort. The two sat quietly together in the still mountain forest. After a while, Shu Yanjio's fever eased and she slowly regained clarity. Seeing Xiao Nan clearly, she gasped in disbelief. Startled, Xiao Nan jumped back, hurriedly explaining he meant no disrespect. Shu Yanjio secretly guessed his identity and why he was here. Seeing her unreadable eyes, Xiao Nan worried she'd question him. Instead, Shu Yanjio smiled gratefully for saving her life, stunning him speechless. Flustered, Xiao Nan denied any credit, saying she was already lying there when he arrived. Shu Yanjio smiled, promising to remember his kindness and inviting him to join Teichu Holy Sect with the reward of secret arts. Xiao Nan was dumbfounded by her offer, while Shu Yanjio awkwardly hid her true identity to avoid deepening old grudges. She quickly rephrased, claiming to be an elder offering to make him a personal disciple if he defected. Though silent, Xiao Nan stayed cautious, sensing strange intent in her gaze. He clasped his hands and firmly refused, declaring he'd never betray the sword sect. Just then, Mola's voice echoed outside the cave, startling them both. Xiao Nan turned, delighted to hear his senior sister. Shu Yanjio instantly covered his mouth, signaling silence to avoid discovery. She sensed a powerful aura approaching while Xiao Nan blushed from her closeness. Whispering near his ear, Shu Yanjio promised to drop the disciple issue, and he nodded frantically. Her next move, however, left him shocked. Right before his eyes, Shu Yanjio slowly removed her outer robe. Panicking, Xiao Nan covered his eyes, begging her to stop, but she coldly said there was no need to prepare. Seeing no indecent motion, he cautiously peeked. Shu Yanjio calmly presented a beast feather armor, explaining its defense far exceeded his current level. Holding the undergarment, Xiao Nan nearly laughed and cried at the same time over her odd generosity. Suddenly, she stepped closer until their breaths nearly mingled. With solemn grace, Shu Yanjio fastened a necklace around his neck like completing a mysterious rite. Leaving with elegant poise, she smiled over her shoulder, telling him not to pretend ignorance if they met again. She vanished without looking back, leaving Xiao Nan muttering about free gifts that were more headache than blessing. Just then, Moly arrived, tracking his trail to the spot. She suspiciously asked what he was doing, her eyes landing on the cloth in his hand. Recognizing the rare item, Moly listened as Xiao Nan awkwardly explained it was a thank you gift from an injured woman. After brief thought, Moly accepted it as his fate's opportunity and told him to keep it. Xiao Nan frowned at the item, unsure how to even use it, carefully storing it away. He followed Moly to continue their cultivation journey. The next morning in the desolate Huangyu region, a group of black-clad men cornered a wounded young girl. Gritting her teeth, the girl warned them, invoking her status as a cousin from the holy sect. The leader sneered, claiming no one could save her in this wilderness. His shameless words made her furious, shouting insults without restraint. The assailants closed in, demanding she surrender a low-tier earthring technique. When he suddenly struck, the girl froze in utter terror. Her clothes were torn, she clutched them while cursing the vile men. At that critical instant, a golden spiritual blast thundered in from afar. The girl's eyes lit up with hope. The explosion of aura sent the black-clad men flying, leaving them terrified and searching for the intruder. Xiao Nan appeared slowly, coldly condemning their bullying of the weak. The girl recognized him, crying out his name in shock. She couldn't comprehend how a man once deemed crippled now wielded such power. Xiao Nan glanced at her, deducing her Teichu holy sect origin and deciding to repay past kindness. The leader sensed his cultivation and sneered, mocking someone only at the 9th spiritual stage. The girl, frightened, urged Xiao Nan to retreat. The enemies were all refining key cultivators. She pleaded for him to escape safely and inform her sect for reinforcements. Xiao Nan waved calmly, rejecting that idea. He pointed at the thugs, warning them to leave if they valued their lives. They burst into laughter, mocking his low cultivation as unworthy of speaking big words. The leader drew his sword with a cruel grin, vowing to send Xiao Nan to the afterlife. He lunged forward, but Xiao Nan simply tilted aside with effortless grace. Yunai screamed in fear for him. Amid the flurry of strikes, Xiao Nan weaved through with ease, his movements too fluid to touch. Spotting an opening, he gathered power, remarking coldly that the man was far too slow. He sprang up and unleashed a crushing punch. One blow, the leader's head was smashed into the dirt pathetically. Xiao Nan stomped once more, finishing him off, declaring such trash didn't deserve his sword. The last two men were horrified, unable to believe their senior was defeated so miserably. Yunai stood frozen, amazed the boy once despised had grown so strong. Xiao Nan ordered the survivors coldly to take the corpse and crawl away, making them flee in panic. When it ended, Xiao Nan calmly told Yunai to skip the gratitude and just get home safely. Yunai bowed, apologizing on behalf of her cousin for breaking the engagement years ago. The words made Xiao Nan pause, confirming she was Nilan Go's cousin. Blushing, Yunai nodded, softly saying she was sent to deliver a sincere apology. Xiao Nan answered coolly, but Yunai, guilt-ridden, offered the flaming triple inferno art as repayment. He noted how unlike her cousin she was. He accepted it with calm courtesy but inwardly rejoiced, feeling fortune had smiled upon him. Yunai, curious about his sword sect background, asked if he'd joined the Forsex spring trial. She cheerfully promised to meet again there, teasing him about saving damsels before leaving. Turning around, Xiao Nan saw Moly smirking and quickly denied any romantic heroics, saying he just hated seeing women bullied. He informed Moly his cultivation and array training were complete. She deemed it acceptable, and said they should return for the spring trial. In the sword sect's main hall, disciples buzzed about Feng Qingyang's breakthrough refining key stage 1 and his acquisition of a superior technique. Brimming with pride, Feng Qingyang boasted that only through the Histruan Sword Codex had he truly grasped the path of cultivation. Rumor says the last spring trial spot went to Xiao Nan, who cultivates the hidden dragon vein and once hurt Yi Wuxia's spirit. Feng Qingjiang coldly retorts that Xiao Nan can't beat him and vows to reclaim the 8th seat. Amid the noise, Xiao Nan and Moly leisurely ride a gourd back to Sword Sect. On the way, Xiao Nan suddenly sneezes hard, thinking someone's gossiping, is teased by Moly, who says she'll part ways after arrival. Xiao Nan grows curious, but Moly dodges, unwilling to escort him publicly and attract troublemakers. Suddenly pulled into Xiao Nan's arms with a teasing whisper, Moly blushes and flusters, not catching his words. Xiao Nan slyly explains she wants to bathe because she smells, shocking Moly nearly off the gourd. Enraged from embarrassment, she kicks him away, shouting that has the smelly one. Xiao Nan crashes down, groaning that Moly hit too hard. Right after the hit, his system announces 5 constitution for taking damage. Still dazed, Xiao Nan hears a familiar voice calling that he's back at the sect. Seeing disciples gathered, he straightens up and declares his training trip complete. Before anyone speaks, he suspiciously asks why everyone's gathered like for a show. Feng Qingjiang steps out, declares Kai refining level 1, and publicly challenges him for the 8th spot. Xiao Nan just sneers. He mocks Feng for acting tough only after a breakthrough, bullying when others are off guard. A calm female voice cuts in, noting it's merely one of 4 spring trial spots. Horui appears, sweet but sharp, advising Xiao Nan to yield. Her status stirs worry among the crowd. Unfazed, Xiao Nan sarcastically asks what right she has to talk as if she owns Sword Sect. Horui freezes, publicly struck speechless. Furious, she unleashes pressure, scolding the newbie for insulting her. The aura crushes Xiao Nan, but his system rapidly boosts endurance and willpower from the strain. Horui raises her whip to teach him, while he stands firm, inwardly defying her arrogance. Just before the whip lands, new instructor appears, shouting to stop like thunder. Horui frowns, demanding why he dares to block her. Xiao Nan is stunned, wondering why the instructor defends him. In truth, new instructor panics caught between the elders here and the chief's daughter. Unable to offend either, he forces a smile, asking both to calm down since the spring trial list is fixed. Horui instantly rejects, saying the trial represents Sword Sect's honor and threatening to tell her grandfather if he's biased. Hearing that, the instructor steps aside as Horui points at Xiao Nan, ordering him to duel Feng Qingyang for the spot. Xiao Nan coldly retorts, demanding what right she has to command him. Leaving Horui speechless with rage, the instructor hurriedly advises Xiao Nan to yield. Fearing hell suffered due to the realm gap, Xiao Nan smirks, revealing surging spiritual power, mocking the Kai refining stage when Feng Qingyang as Horui tosses him a low-grade spirit weapon, fueling his aura as he unleashes the fierce wind sword art. Without delay, Xiao Nan releases his own roaring aura, meeting the attack head-on. He shouts softly, channeling the chilling killing intent of the flame mirror fusion sword intent. Golden sword light erupts like a blazing sunset, crushing space itself, forcing Feng Qingyang to brace with his spirit weapon amid the raging energy storm. Feng Qingyang's sword cracks apart like rotten wood, and he screams in disbelief at the overwhelming force. A thunderous explosion shakes the heavens, sending shockwaves in all directions. Witnessing disciples freeze in awe, unable to believe a single strike shattered a spirit weapon far beyond 9th grade spirit power. Xiao Nan coldly eyes Horui with a mocking smile, provoking her furious shout. Losing control, Horui tries to strike again but is stopped by the instructor. She storms off in hatred while Xiao Nan mutters she's impossible to understand. The battle is secretly observed from afar by 2 watching masters. Bing Yun sighs at Xiao Nan's rapid growth, while Moly coolly says prodigies improving fast is nothing new. Bing Yun glances meaningfully at Mola, hinting she'll personally deal with Xiao Nan later. Moly calmly notes that Xiao Nan just offended Horui, who's a dangerous grudge holder. Kyun-Su comments Xiao Nan's strength is enough to fear no one. Moly agrees, saying he can suppress 5th stage Kai refining without formations. Bing Yun shakes her head, warning Hoaroy's grandfather, the law elder of unyielding Sword Peak, is the true threat. At that moment, Wuyan steps out, calmly declaring he'll handle the matter himself. Bing Yun frowns, asking his intent, but only receives a cryptic, short reply. Before anyone can stop him, Wuyan turns into mist and darts away, making Bing Yun pale and shout after him, fearing a murder's about to happen.